You are Locked On Golden Gophers POSTCAST, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, baby, what a game. A Gopher classic today. Gophers hold on thanks to a last-second missed field goal by Rutgers, 31-28. That was your final. They moved to 3-1 on the year. Thanks for joining us. Got all your instant reaction coming up next on the Golden Gophers postcast right here, Locked On Sports Minnesota Network, your team every day. You got me, Luke Inman, at Luke_Spinman. Got the legend, Gophers Hall of Famer Ron Johnson. Give him a follow on X, at 3Ron Johnson. Check him out every Tuesday on the Ron Johnson Show right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota YouTube page and wherever you find your podcast. Ron, lots to get into. Biggest turning point I want to ask you from today, Golden Gophers game MVP. Plus, did the Gophers find their new wide receiver one? We've been asking that question for a couple games now. Let's just get into the biggest meat and potatoes, though, with the biggest turning point from it.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
This was such a back and forth game. Honestly, I feel like you could pick 5 different key moments to go, but I'll go all the way back to the early second quarter. You're down 14 rip. Things look ugly. Things could get out of hand very quickly, but here comes Drake Lindsey showing off the big arm. Nice clean pocket to step into, by the way. First play of their drive at their own 30, throws a bomb. Jalen Smith, who also had a day, takes it down to the 2 plays later, touchdown. Now it's 14-7 at least. Now you can breathe again. We've got a game. That was such a huge turning point in my mind because if you don't score there, Ron, Rutgers even kicks a field goal next possession. You're down 17 rep, feels like a mountain to climb. But you tell me, biggest turning point in your eyes, when was it and why?
I feel like it was the interception. When that interception came up, one that gave the Gophers a chance to stay in this game. And my key to the game on the pregame show was keep that monster under control, which was the offense of Rutgers. Rutgers offense in the first half scored 102 points in total. In the second half, they've scored 65 points. And so they've almost doubled their production in the first half compared to the second half. And in the third quarters, respectively, the last 2 games have been 0-0. Like they haven't scored in the third quarter. And so I bought that up. Their biggest quarters have been the second quarter. And the Gophers seem to have done that. I said, if you go into the half within striking distance or tied, they'll win this game. And that's what they did. They went into halftime, and it wasn't a blowout compared to what it had been for other games they faced. When you look at Iowa, that's how Iowa kind of stayed toe with them. Yeah. They just made sure to stay just close enough that if they sputter a little bit, which Rutgers sputtered, and you just saw it, but that interception was huge. That was a turning point because I don't think early on it felt like, a hot knife through butter. Like they were just dicing them up, going down the field. The field goal block, I think, was huge too. That could technically be a turning point, but it's too early in the game. But that was a huge block punt. If you go all the way to the beginning, if they make that field goal, this is a tie game at this point. Going in, they're going into halftime, and Rutgers probably plays it differently because they're just coming down to kick a field goal to win the game. And so all that little stuff matters, but that interception was huge.
Kerry Brown on the interception, by the way. How about the after the catch skills, the run after the catch skills, man? He I think he had, 28 yards, okay, north and south, but he must have traveled almost 100 yards because he was prime time and he was dancing back and forth and put on some good moves, put some dudes on some skates back there too to get it all the way down inside the 5-yard line. That was a lot of fun as well. Let's get into what we'll be talking about tomorrow.
This is what you'll be talking about.
So I just want to set this up, what we'll be talking about. We wake up tomorrow morning, we read the Star Trib or hop on ESPN, CBS, whatever it may be. For me, it's got to be Drake Lindsey, right? Like they come into the game, Gophers, what do you think? Offense, what do you think when you hear Gophers? Let's run first team. But they're down their top 2 dogs, man. And props to PJ and the offensive coordinator saying, let's just give Drake Lindsey the keys tonight and let's just see what he does. Let's just let him sling it. Again, they get down 14 rip. You're thinking, man, not going the way we thought. He ends the day 31 for 41, though. 3 touchdowns and some big time throws in the clutch when it mattered the most. So we got this 4-game sample size now, Ron. What are we learning about Drake Lindsey, I guess, after this game that we can kind of add to the scouting report now, add to the resume, so to speak?
Well, the thing that we can talk about tomorrow is the fact that Ethan Kaliakmanis versus Drake Lindsey There was good on both sides. Good on both sides.
Yeah.
But there's no question Drake Lindsey is the future. Like, I think a lot of people were wondering, like, oh, man, maybe you guys should, because early on, it looked like maybe we should have kept Athan. Like, you didn't give Athan a chance.
8 for 8. Started 8 for 8, bro.
Yeah, he started out hot. And then Danny Collins kind of had the defense sit in there. The guys started getting home a little bit. You saw Benz. You saw Jackson Howard, Anthony Smith. Like, the guys start getting after the quarterback a little bit. And that was where you saw Athan Kaligmanis kind of come back down to earth a little bit. He kind of, regressed a little bit. And Drake Lindsey, the no huddle up tempo, I've always said that. If anything's sputtering, go no huddle. Go tempo offense. Get to the line of scrimmage quick. Don't let the defense get set. Make them play a basic vanilla defense, and you keep going. And that was the change in the game. When they let Drake Lindsey kind of go back to what he did in high school and spread guys out and be able to pick his targets, Drew Bibber had some great catches in the middle, kind of, set it down. Jalen Smith had a couple big catches for him. You saw Logan Loya. So I think getting everybody out, even the running backs were catching balls from out the backfield, letting the guys get in space, letting him kind of dice them up a little bit. We're definitely going to be talking about that. The fact that Drake Lindsey, 75% completions to Athan Kaligmanis is 61%?
Yeah.
Huge like mindset too for now going into the next couple games. Cause they have a couple, you got Oregon, Ohio State, and Michigan State, you got some tough games coming up, but this was a huge kind of like, if you win the ones you're supposed to win, because you got some tough ones coming up, this is one of those, you have to win this game knowing that you got to play Ohio State and Oregon, this season. Those are going to be tough mountains to climb. And so I think everybody's gonna be talking about that they feel like the future is good. Drake Lindsey is the future. Now, honestly, the other next topic can be like, let's go recruit some receivers now. I think we got a couple here, but hey, let's get to who's in the portal. Let's see some, let's go get them. Let's get Drake Lindsey some weapons.
I'm not, the X's and O's guru like yourself watching the All 22 every week, but I will say there's something to be said about, I've watched football for almost 30 years, Ron, the eye test. Drake Lindsey, I just feel like he passes the eye test, man. I think they got one, dude. I think they got one. And to your point, we can transition here. Get him some weapons, like you just talked about. All summer we talked about who's going to step up in the wake of losing Daniel Jackson at wide receiver. Jalen Smith, this freshman today, man, he was a spark plug from Mankato, by the way. Catches this 78-yard bomb that I talked about in one of the biggest turning points, gets it down to the 2, go ahead, score. Later in the game, reaching over the stripe, 4 catches, 103 yards, and a touchdown. I know he's young. I know this wide receiver room is still kind of just ebbs and flows right now, still trying to figure it all out, what the pecking order looks like. But it feels like he's got a good rapport with Lindsey and could be the spark plug that they've been kind of looking for.
No, I think this is going to be every game is going to be a different guy. You had Lemeki Brockington last week, or the week before last, before the bye against Cal. You had Jalen Smith in the first game of the year. So I think PJ's hit the nail on the head when he told us this on the PJ Flex show at the State Fair. This goes back way to the State Fair. That was the first thing I wanted to know. Who's the guy? Like, who's the guy? Yep. You don't have a Chris Altman. Yeah, you don't have a Chris Altman Bell anymore. You don't have a Daniel Jackson. You don't have a Rashad Bateman, a Tyler Johnson. Who's your guy? And he said, it's gonna be a group effort. And I think that's what we saw today. Jamison Gears, at tight end, like you're seeing a bunch of different options for him. I think honestly that's going to probably be better for him long term, because now he's not going to feel forced into one guy, and teams can't really, like, if you think it's, early Lemeki caught the touchdown early in the back of the end zone. I actually just tweeted that out. I tweeted it out during the game because I happened to be standing right there when that play was called. So I got the live action from my phone. And if you watch the throw from my level, from field level, you can see how tough of because on TV, I don't know if it tells you how tough of a throw that was for Lindsey, because the DB was right there with Lemeki. So he kind of threw it high enough that the DB would have had to known the ball was coming to even make a play on it. And Lemeki kind of late hands it, went up at the last minute, caught it, got 2 feet in. So that thing would have been good in the NFL, Canada, college, high school, whatever. Got 2 feet in and toe tapped in the back of the end zone. That showed the level of throw. And then you open up with a deep bomb to Jalen Smith. Then you turn around and you give Jamison Gears a throw. Then you throw Drew Bibber a couple in the middle. Like, I think he's just going to take what the defense is giving him. I mean, you had even what's his name, Javon Tracy. I love that. Him and Jalen Smith on the one-step smokes, the quick, one-step slant, the arrow route, as you want to call it. They were running the quick arrows. Like it was a great masterclass of let's just get the ball out of his hands quick, kick and spin it. And honestly, like he got hit on that deep ball that he missed in the third quarter, I think it was, the deep post. If he had 1/2 of a second, that's another touchdown to Jalen Smith because he got hit, so he kind of rushed the throw a little bit and couldn't get air under it. His arm, not hit, but his arm got hit. If you go back and watch it, that thing would have been perfect if he had time because, again, 1/2 of a second, he lets that go, but the guy came free off the edge because it was kind of a turn protection.
9 different receivers with a catch today. Just to your point, 9 different. I mean, that's spreading the ball out right there compared to Rutgers. 6.
And shout out to Bibber, man. Like we were wondering what he was going to do out of Purdue. 4 for 41. Yeah. I feel like his role is going to grow as well. Jamison Gears 3 for 24. I mean, that's huge for a freshman quarterback to have those that number of weapons. Yep. And here's the crazy thing, Luke. We're going to be talking about this because they did it without both of their running backs.
I know.
Without A.J. Turner and Darius Taylor, and they beat Rutgers. So, again, versus like Ohio State, Oregon, you got to get Darius Taylor back, but, we'll see.
That brings me to a good segue that we'll get to in segment 2 here. But first, what are we going to be talking about as far as the defense goes? Because I thought there was some great individual and team performances. Granted, you're going to look at the box score, see 28 points put up there, but Devin Williams leads the team 13 tackles. How about Coy Parrish specifically after, what he called his worst game ever that he's ever played in any sport ever in his entire life, coming back 11 tackles with a sack, but 17 sacks, Ron, and 11 tackles for loss plus 5 pass breakups. Obviously, the interception by Kerry Brown we already talked about. What are we going to be talking about as far as the defense rebounding, from I guess 2 weeks ago after their bye versus that Cal game?
Yeah, 7 sacks and interception versus Rutgers having 2 sacks and no interceptions. I think when they I said this on the pregame show. When the Gophers watched that San Diego State versus Cal game, I guarantee Danny Collins was like, dang it, I should have blitzed more, because that's how they slowed that kid down. They got up to the quarterback a little bit more. I mean, you saw Coy Parrish on the blitz today. You saw Anthony Smith, or not Anthony Smith, sorry. You saw what's his name? Number 2 for the Gophers. Emmanuel Karamo. Yeah. You saw him, kind of go up and bluff. You saw guys bluffing in the A gap. So he was doing a lot of things to make sure guys were able to get to the quarterback, but they also made sure they didn't let Ethan get long runs. Like every time they rushed, everybody was kind of in their lanes. They played it the right way. Nobody was like trying to do anything outside the scheme. That's where a lot of quarterbacks hurt you, is when guys like go inside because they're like, oh, I'm going to get this sack, versus rush your lane. Let somebody else come. And that one sack early on, I don't know if it was a combo sack or they just gave it to Jackson Howard. I never saw how they scored that because Howard wrapped him up. Looks like did they give him the full sack? So yeah, they gave it to Jackson Howard.
Sack. Yeah.
But because I know somebody else kind of was wrapped up around him too. But stuff like that, when you look at those type of sacks, go back and watch it. That's everybody rushing their lanes and then working back down their lane. That's all that was. Everybody rushed their lane, and then Jackson Howard, when Ethan started scrambling, Jackson Howard just came back down his lane and made the tackle. Like if those guys had got greedy and knocked each other off or went inside, Ethan probably gets out the other side, that left side, and nobody's over there. But because the guy rushing kept him in the pocket, that allowed Jackson Howard to come back and make that sack. So, again, that's just playing great team defense and staying within the scheme and not trying to win the game by yourself.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
All right, is it pretty simple, pretty cut and dry? You tell us, Ron. Today's game MVP, who was it and why?
I got to give it to Drake Lindsey. We haven't talked much about him all season. We've been talking Darius Taylor. We've been talking the other receivers that maybe had 100-yard games, but we never saw a full Drake Lindsey game. So 324 yards, 75% completions, 3 touchdowns. But I love the fact that he commanded that no-huddle offense. Like, you saw him, and he was – I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen a symphony, a guy doing the symphony, and he's like a maestro up there.
The maestro.
Oh, man. He was just – he was walking to the line of scrimmage, talking to the offensive line. He was manipulating the receivers. He was talking to manipulating the defensive backs, by the way. He was talking to the receivers. You can see him figuring it out at every turn. And Rutgers, Rob Smith, again, there was a lot of not bad blood, but there was a lot of boiling blood, I call it, between Rutgers and Gophers Gophers, if you think about Rob Smith, PJ Fleck fired him. He's with there. Kirk Shiraka said he was going to retire. Then he went to Penn State. Now he's over here at Rutgers as well. Greg Schiano is PJ's mentor. So there was so much. Ethan Kaligmanis, the Gophers didn't believe in him, quote unquote. So he goes over and follows Kirk Shiraka, brings him over to Rutgers. So there was just a lot going on in there. And so when you think about that, to see Drake Lindsey in his house show them this is why PJ wanted Max Brosmer. He's in the league now. And this is why he wanted me, because this is what I can do with an offense. And so I'm just glad that he outdueled him, because if he hadn't of, we'd have to hear tweets all week about, man, you should have kept, because people were saying like Ethan Kaligmanis was the best quarterback in the Big Ten. I was like, look, he hasn't played anybody. And people, go check the receipts. I got receipts. That's one thing. I never get on here and talk if I ain't got a receipt. Like 2 weeks ago, I think somebody said he was the best quarterback in the Big Ten. I was like, hold up, pump your brakes. I was like, you must have forgot about Dante Moore over at Oregon. And I was like, right. He hasn't played anybody yet. They're like, oh, he played Iowa, man, and Iowa's been a top 5. Iowa's defense is trash right now. They are not great like they used to be. Like, they are not who they used to be. And so the Gophers' defense is real, and you see what happened. Not again, kid threw for 250, 2 touchdowns, but he had that pick. He didn't throw for 300. They were throwing for 4. They had 445 yards of offense per game coming into this. That's crazy. And the Gophers were able to hold them. So that's the thing I looked at is when you think about the yardage they had, 445 yards of offense. That's crazy.
Passes the eye test, man. I think they got one. Don't go anywhere. What we didn't like today. Plus, quick little preview of Ohio State next week, 6:30 late game on Peacock, by the way. That's all coming up, though, right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by FanDuel. NFL season's here. FanDuel's got a can't-miss offer for you. And right now, new customers, you bet just $5. You win that $5 bet, you're getting $300 in bonus bets guaranteed to use across the app. Why I love FanDuel. They got everything. Player props, a same-game parlay, jumping in live as the action unfolds, one of my favorites. You name it, they got it. It's so quick. It's so easy. Best way to add a little bit more enthusiasm, a little bit more excitement to your Sundays. Are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app. Go to FanDuel.com today to get started. That's FanDuel.com. Getting $300 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. All right, Ron, a lot of positives, showering a lot of dudes with some flowers, obviously, and spotlight and love. But what's one thing you do want to see them improve on after today? After you watched the way things unfolded, one thing you didn't love. How about the running game for me? I mean, virtually non-existent. Been a long time we've said that after a Gopher game, struggling to run the ball that much. How much blame or forgiveness, I guess, do you give knowing they were out, without their top 2 guys? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. I give them a little bit of forgiveness. They were without their top 2 backs. But the one thing I noted, so the Gophers defense heading into this game was first in stopping the run. 41 yards per game. The fact that they allowed a running back to rush 161 yards.
Yeah.
I kind of am like, that's what they need to improve. Like not improve, but just, again, you hadn't played anybody that was willing to sell out on the run and run as much as they did, and that's what Rutgers did. Rutgers never runs the ball that much either, though. Let's be real. They throw the crap out the ball. I'm surprised. Maybe they just felt like, look, on film, the Gophers haven't been tested, so they're going to go after the Gophers run game. But to give up 161 yards, and that's the one thing I love about wins. If they had lost this game, we'd be talking about that. Stop the run. But they stopped the pass. So 177 yards per game is what they had been giving up, which was first in the country, or number 1 in the country. That's better than Ohio State. That was better than Oregon. That was better than Penn State. That was better than Michigan. That's better than Alabama, Georgia, better than everybody. Gophers had the best defense in college football. And so to give up 161 yards, I can nitpick on that because they won. And that's what I would say. That's one thing I'd love to see them improve on.
Last 60 seconds here, Ron. Ohio State next. They're the top dog, number 1 ranked team in the country. So PJ and company, they watch the film tomorrow from this one. What's the number 1 thing you think PJ and that coaching staff is going to be talking about when they turn on the tape and start to prep for Ohio State? How do you beat these guys?
You go tempo like that. Like you test the waters first, see how your offense is doing versus their defense. Ohio State is really, really good. They're really, really good, and they played a tough. They play a tough schedule at Ohio State. They have to because they want to be they want to be the national champions. And so when you look at Ohio State and what they bring to the table, if you feel like this no huddle, no tempo, if you feel like you can go after it, because again, this is going to be one of those games. They got a guy by the name of Jeremiah Smith. I love these type of games. You had Maserati Marv. I loved watching that one. The Gophers actually didn't get killed when Marvin Harrison Jr. played. This could be another one. The defense is really good. Like, if they can slow down Ohio State just a little bit. Like I said, when I played, Ohio State was, 6th in the country. We slowed them down just enough, and then we put up enough plays. Drake Lindsey today, I think they saw this kid can go out there and throw for 300 yards. Maybe he does it against Ohio State on the big stage because I'm pretty sure it's a night game, right? 6:30 kickoff.
6:30 kickoff. Yep.
So yeah, I'm excited about it. I got the champagne just in case because if they upset number 1, I'm popping a bottle, Luke. We're popping bottles.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, get that stogie ready as well. You're right. Maserati Marv didn't kill it. Egbuka, though. Egbuka, I remember, had like 5 for 83, which still isn't like out of this. 5 for 83 still isn't out of this world by any means. But yeah, you got to bring your A game for sure. Gophers unload the clip. They survive. It was a back-and-forth brawl today, but Drake Lindsey's 3 touchdown passes gets them over the hump, 31-28. That's your final over Rutgers. Huge shout-out to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and please go check out all of Ron's work on X at 3Ron Johnson, plus all the good stuff he's always putting up over on the Ron Johnson Show. That's each and every Tuesday as well. Ohio State, they're up next, 6:30 kickoff. I believe that's being broadcasted on Peacock, so check that out. Join us for that one. Should be another good one. Until then, Sky Uma, go Gophers. Signing out.